Hey there, friends! Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're exploring a profound and essential topic, the righteousness of God. This concept is foundational to our faith, and understanding it can transform the way we live our lives. So, let's dive in and uncover what the Bible says about God's righteousness and what it means for us as believers. Let's start with the basics. What do we mean by righteousness? In the simplest terms, righteousness refers to being morally right or justifiable. But when we talk about the righteousness of God, we're referring to His perfect nature, His absolute holiness, justice, and fairness. One of the key verses that highlight God's righteousness is Psalm 11 verse 7, which says, "For the Lord is righteous, He loves righteousness, the upright will see His face." This verse reveals that righteousness isn't just a characteristic of God, it's something He deeply values and desires in us as well. But what makes God's righteousness so unique? Unlike human righteousness, which can be flawed and inconsistent, God's righteousness is perfect and unchanging. Deuteronomy 32 verse 4 describes God as the rock. His work is perfect, for all His ways are justice. A God of faithfulness and without iniquity, just and upright is He. Here, Moses reminds us that God's actions are always right and just because they stem from His perfect character. His righteousness ensures that He is always fair, never partial, and that His judgments are always true. Now, here's the amazing part. Through Jesus Christ, God's righteousness is made available to us. Romans 3 verse 22 tells us, "This righteousness is given through faith in Jesus Christ to all who believe." There is no difference between Jew and Gentile. This means that we, who are imperfect and sinful, can be made righteous in God's sight through faith in Jesus. So, how does this work in practical terms? When we put our faith in Jesus, God credits us with the righteousness of Christ. This is often referred to as imputed righteousness. It's not something we earn by our own efforts, but a gift from God, as 2 Corinthians 5 verse 21 explains. God made Him who had no sin to be sin for us, so that in Him we might become the righteousness of God. This incredible exchange, Christ taking our sin upon Himself and giving us His righteousness, is at the heart of the gospel. But God's righteousness doesn't just stop at justification. It's also about sanctification, the process by which we grow in righteousness and become more like Christ. Philippians 1 verse 11 encourages us to be filled with the fruit of righteousness that comes through Jesus Christ, to the glory and praise of God. This means that as we follow Jesus, we should strive to live in a way that reflects His righteousness, bearing good fruit in our lives. Now, let's discuss some moral lessons that we can draw from understanding the righteousness of God. 1. Recognize our need for God's righteousness. We must acknowledge that our own righteousness is like filthy rags compared to God's perfect standard, as Isaiah 64 verse 6 puts it. This should lead us to rely completely on Jesus for our righteousness, rather than trusting in our own efforts. 2. Embrace humility. Understanding that we are made righteous through Christ should humble us. It's not about what we've done, but about what God has done for us. James 4 verse 6 says, "God opposes the proud but shows favor to the humble." Let's cultivate humility as we live out our faith. 3. Pursue a righteous life. While righteousness is a gift from God, it's also something we're called to pursue actively. Matthew 6 verse 33 tells us, "But seek first His kingdom and His righteousness, and all these things will be given to you as well." This means prioritizing God's will in every area of our lives, striving to live in a way that honors Him. 4. Trust in God's justice. In a world full of injustice, it can be difficult to understand why certain things happen. But because God is righteous, we can trust that He will ultimately bring justice. Psalm 9 verse 8 reassures us, "He will judge the world in righteousness. He will govern the peoples with justice." Our role is to trust in His timing and His ways. As we wrap up, I want to leave you with this thought. God's righteousness is both a gift and a call to action. It's a gift in that we are made righteous through Christ, and it's a call to live out that righteousness daily in how we treat others, make decisions, and pursue God's will. Important question. How does understanding God's righteousness change the way you approach your relationship with Him and others? I encourage you to reflect on this and share your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for spending this time with me today. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more biblical insights. Stay connected with me on Instagram for more inspiration throughout your week. Until next time, keep growing in faith and living in the righteousness of God. God bless.